All right, music fans. It is I, Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you, right there, and me here. So I have an idea for the NFL after their halftime debacle where we see lip syncing and dancing, and the league itself has decided that they don't really want their demographic to continue watching at halftime, and some probably even tune out if their team is losing or they're stressed out watching the game. They'll go over to Puppy Bowl, or they'll do pretty much anything. One person told me they were watching an Andy Griffith marathon, which shows you it shows you the level of disdain people now have for this particular sport. The league didn't do themselves a lot of favors during the season, and they didn't really recover at the Super Bowl. I know a lot of folks had Patriot fatigue. Being from New England, I had kind of mixed feelings about it. My team had already won 5 Super Bowls. I'm glad the Eagles won, but a lot of people were probably like, not these guys again. And so another motivator for maybe just a very sort of tepid feeling toward this game. I think the halftime entertainment really doesn't help when you've got lip syncing and dancing, and your demographic wants to hear good old-fashioned rock and roll. I have a solution. I have a cure for the NFL. Next year at halftime, invite the most obnoxious, most bar-oriented band I can think of in the world, and that would be George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. You need to invite George Thorogood. He needs to begin the set with Bad to the Bone. He needs to play Move It On Over. He needs to play I Drink Alone. He needs to play One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer. And he needs to play Get a Haircut and Get a Real Job. Okay, that would be my George Thorogood set. Not necessarily in that order. I think I'd finish with One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer. I would just love to see the typical halftime audience who are all excited that Justin Timberlake is going to be there. They're just so excited to see Justin running around and more or less just dancing and lip syncing. Then George Thorogood and his bar band of brothers get up on stage and just absolutely smoke the Super Bowl, and people are just left like, oh, what's that? I'll have the kids asking their parents, who are these guys? Who are these old guys? It would just be so awesome. And I don't know why. I mean, there are a number of other bands that might be able to fill this role. But just to hear Bad to the Bone, like, echoing through whatever arena the Super Bowl happens to be in next year, I think it would just be so sweet. And I think this video, if we can make this video go viral, where it gets over to the NFL, where the powers that be actually maybe listen to the consumers and their demographics. They had a rough year this year. They need to do some damage control. They need to fix this problem. And a lot of my friends were like, hey, well, how about Journey? How about Foreigner? How about REO or Six? Nope. All too nice and too well-mannered. I want somebody to come in there with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth right here, with a beer can over here, and with maybe a whiskey bottle behind them, and I want them to just crank out a set of blues rock, obnoxious blues rock, the kind that we all used to hear on the radio mixed with our classic rock. By the way, George Thorogood probably deserves a little bit more airplay than he gets, and even consideration for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Everybody says, well, he just recycles Chuck Berry riffs. Really? And how is that a problem, Batman? I think it's not a problem. So think about it. Spread the video around, George Thorogood and the Destroyers, for next year's halftime entertainment. I think people would actually stay tuned to hear old George just belting out his classic hits. That's my opinion. I'm Dave. This is the Real Music Observer, and I'll be back, of course, with more real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me, and for the NFL. See you guys soon.